All right, so what's up, guys? So we're about to run right now. Just give us a minute or so as we have some Dr. Dre in our headphones. It's like this and like that and like this, and here we go. Woo. So today it's not the best days, I would say. In particular, if you're out and about, right, driving a car, moving around the city, as it's been very gloomy, and wow, literally right when we start, we are, jumped on by some individuals who were a little bit crazy about us and what we do. So let's close up this pocket real quick. So we forgot to do that as we continue on our way, moving through our run, right as we make it towards our destination, right, the finish line. And we love to do this. This is so much fun for us, right? Because this is just like another activity for us. This is we would call it like a walk in the park, right? Except this one is more like a jog, right? We're out here running, doing our thing, having fun, right? Kicking behind, taking names, as we do this, right? As we try to run and juggle, right? This craziness that took us, quite some time to learn, right? Each skill, right? The skill of juggling, of course, and the skill of running, right? Integrating the two, right? Which also took some time and training to do. And, essentially for you, learning these different skills and applying them together is really a huge life lesson for me, right? Is that, even I'll say, like, when I started both running and juggling, right, as separate acts, they felt like almost impossible, to progress. They felt very hard, right? Because when I would go running, right, I would get the temptation to stop, to quit, to give up, right, essentially, in whatever it is that I'm doing. And, essentially, it takes, a certain mindset, a certain willpower in order to get through it all, right? To go in one day, work out, do your thing, and come back the next day stronger and better. And it's the whole name of the game. But you may be wondering how you do that, right? It may sound so easy, drawn out, right? All you gotta do is do the work, do more work than yesterday, and you're gonna see improvement. But it's more complex than that, right? It's easier said than done, because if it were so easy, then everybody would simply be able to do it, right? Everybody would have pretty much anything they wanted, right? Because a lot of the amazing things that people want, particular careers, particular bodies, right, of physical shape, and financial goals, all of that takes work, right, and time, to build. And essentially everyone knows that you have to do the work, right, and do more work, and eventually you'll get there. But in order to do that, exactly, it requires some huge thing, the D word we call discipline, right? Because so many people simply lack that, right? So elusive, it's so hard to obtain, right? Because and very often the D word, discipline, and the M word, motivation, right? Two big crucial keys, you know, for your success. You know, they often get confused with one another. And, you know, to break it down pretty simply for all of you, is that motivation is a short burst. We would call it energy, right? Directional energy towards something. Right? You can get motivation to study for your exam, right? Maybe in a couple days, weeks, or even tomorrow, right? The motivation is going to push you, get the light going, the fire within you to start doing a lot of work, right? The necessary work, and that's good, awesome, great, right? Everyone needs to start somewhere, but you know, in the end, you want big, you know, goals to be hit. Well, you got to hit your marks, and they take time, right? You can simply try to sprint and sprint until you reach a marathon, but guess what? You're gonna get tired, right? It's physically impossible to sprint through a marathon, right? A 26.2-mile race, if you guys aren't so familiar with it. And you know, essentially, that's the name of the game, right? You got to figure out your pace. How fast are you going to run throughout the whole duration in order to preserve your energy, right? And you know, learn things like developing your stamina, right? Because as we said, nobody has the stamina as of right now, right? We don't want to say that, you know, something's impossible, but at least in this day and age, nobody's able to do a full sprint for 26 miles straight. It's crazy, right? A lot of people can't do, you know, 50, let alone 20, 10 meters of it, right? How are you gonna do 26 miles of that? And you know, for you, a lot of people, you know, take this faulty mindset within their day-to-day activities, right? So they'll have that test coming up, and they'll watch a bunch of motivational videos, or they'll see other people that are successful, right? They probably already have the degrees that they want to get, right? The straight-A students, right? Fancy cars they might have after, you know, finishing school. And guess what? They're in the library studying for hours upon hours, right? Almost like torturing themselves, right? Because we are human, right? We're not robots, we're not machines, we're not cars that simply, given fuel, can run. Even if you did that to a car, keep running it, running it, running it, it's gonna break down, right? It's not meant to continuously drive and drive and drive, right? And that's, you know, way closer to being a perfect machine than you are. We're humans, right? We, you know, get tired, and we have emotions, right? So if you're constantly wearing yourself out, you are not going to be very productive, and arguably very unhappy. But it's going to be hard for you to simply keep up with people who are well rested, right? Common example we would think of is, you know, in the NBA, right? There's a whole, you know, I would even say coaching system designed, you know, to figure out when to bench players and when to take them off the bench, right? Because you simply cannot put all of your star players to play all 48 minutes and even overtime if you're doing that, right? Only a certain number of players in a certain number of situations can do that and not even sustain that, right? You can't expect a player to play every single minute in a season, right? They're gonna get tired, they're gonna wear out, they're gonna risk getting hurt, getting injured, right? So many different problems arise, right? So by that virtue, you have to realize the importance of rest, right? Taking a break, sitting down, and you know, essentially recuperating, right? Charging your batteries. And, you know, essentially, you have to think, right? How much energy are you expending, right? When do you actually need a break, right? When is it you really needing it versus your mind playing a trick on you, right? So one thing that we learn when we run is that very often when we could feel tired and want to give up, it's simply a trick done by our mind, right? Because physically you can handle it, right? You're able to go and do it. Yo, what's up? Oh boy. I'm gonna go get this guy. My boy. Zach. Yo, stop. What's good? I'm covering the camera. That's good. Did you see, is the stream good?
Yeah, it's a little choppy. I know.
Oh yeah, dude. That's the signal's messed up, but.
Okay, I don't know if it's on my end or your end though.
Oh, okay.
But bro, yo,
that's what's up, yo, dude. Your shit's so lit.
Yo, it's lit, bro. When are you done? Cause I'll be going.
All right. About an hour and change.
I'll go home.
You can go to or Matheson Hammock Park by here. Look it up. It's nice. You can see like all the water, and there's like woods and shit. You'll like it. Yeah, it's nice. It's right by here. Search up Matheson Hammock Park.
Okay, yeah, come when you're done.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Dale, bro. All right, so we are back on here as we are making our way through the abyss, right? The wonderful city. And you know, essentially, what were we even talking about? What were we even thinking about? Hello, hi. Here we go as we get ready to cross the street, right as we work towards, getting ourselves over to safety, right as we take risks. Such an important thing in life, because essentially, in order to do great things, to make great change, to, you know, simply achieve things that very few people, or perhaps nobody has done before, you're gonna have to take some risk, right? Just like how the people, here we go as we make our way through, this is how people discover land, right? They had to travel either by sea, by foot, right, through different jungles, make their way through, and, you know, reach these new discovered territories, right? They were the ones that discovered it. And, you know, it took significant amounts of risk, right? Very often in these different voyages around the world and to different places, it was a common occurrence that, you know, all the crew that they had would not make it through the whole way, through the whole journey, right? That was a, you know, known thing, known occurrence. And, you know, they realized, you know, that the risk of that happening outweighed, or no, was inferior in comparison to the potential success they could have, right, by discovering a new land and developing it, right, making way for future generations to enjoy and live upon, right? So many people, you know, are afraid to take risk, right? They're afraid of failure, right? And a lot of it is perceived, right? They think, you know, that a lot of bad things are going to happen to them if they don't do something the right way, right? They're so paralyzed by it, right? That fear that they develop. And, you know, essentially, you know, by them feeling that way, they're going to be less and less likely to take risk, and on the likelihood of them messing up, right? And, you know, encountering more and more failure is higher, right? Because they, lack the focus on their task, right? Whatever it is that they're doing, right? They're so caught up in the reactions, right? The failures and potential occurrences. And, you know, essentially, really, you have to think about it, right? Think about the different ways you could do that. You can go about your business and your journey, right? So, you know, essentially, as we get ready to cross the street, get moving, get going, and look out for people, look out for cars that could potentially hit us. Uh-oh. No good, no good. But let's see. As we make our way through, balling so hard, right? That's what's going through our headphones. And in life, you do want to ball, right? You do want to ball. Ouch. Ball hard, right? Show off when you have to, right? Work at something, be amazing, and be proud of it. And you know, that's not something, that's not something to be ashamed of, right? Your work being on display, right? Because if you essentially didn't work for it, I, for one, wouldn't be so proud of it, right? Because one of the big purposes in life, in this world, that we are given is, you know, essentially to make things, to build, to create, to, you know, essentially make these huge, beautiful structures, right? Big buildings, big inventions, right? So many awesome, you know, even to works of art, right? Create things that exceed us, right? And, you know, while you're here, the different metrics of success that you will enjoy, right? Whether it may be the money, status, fame, right? All those things are great. They're wonderful. And they come as a byproduct of that hard work, right? You're doing something, falling in love with it, and, you know, essentially making a proficiency at it, right? Becoming awesome at something, right? People respect that. People respect the hard work, right? Being able, you know, to do something and do it very good, right? People pay money for that. They pay, you know, different accolades and sort of features, right? Rewards, right? You do something great, they're going to be rewarded. But in order to do that particular thing in a great way, it's going to take time and effort, right? It's not built overnight. Yo, let's go, let's go. And essentially, that's where the mindset comes to play, right? As you're growing and developing, right? Because, whoa, not every day you're gonna be able to be on that level, right? You're in the process of leveling up, getting better, improving, right? So that means that you are not gonna be, you know, all there yet, right? You may not have the Bentley and a nice house and, you know, everything you've dreamed of attaining yet, right? And that's okay, right? It's awesome. You know what? I wouldn't really say it's the most awesome thing that you don't have it, but at least for us, what it reminds us of is that state of being on your way is awesome, right? Working towards your objective, right? Being able to get up and work at something, right? And watch yourself see improvement, or at least have the potential to improve, right? That's why so many people, you know, love or are infatuated with the idea of youth, right? The potential. You seemingly, you know, when you're growing up, you pretty much have the world at your feet. You have the potential to do anything, right? Your body hasn't peaked in terms of athleticism, intelligence, right? It's still developing, right? It's a wonderful time to learn a new skill, a new language, right? Get very good at something, right? Because you have so much potential. You have the opportunity, you know, to make a huge impact on the world. And, you know, essentially as you get older, you start to realize more and more that success. And while the success is awesome, it's great, right? No one's gonna deny that the more money you have, right, the higher salary that you now earn is going to open up doors for you, as we have to yell over the train. But what were we even saying? As we have someone going through, yeah, man. So many people go through their journeys with an emptiness, right? They feel like they want, hello, oh man, as we lost our train of thought. So many people have an emptiness, but they don't feel that they will be enough until they have certain features, right? Certain aspects, right? A certain amount of money, right? For many, it's, you know, having that six-figure bank account, right? And then salary and $1 million house, right? So many people don't think that they will be enough, right? Where there may be, you know, they won't even feel attractive enough, right? Worthy enough to have, you know, a good social group, right? A good group of friends to hang around, right? They feel that they will get all that stuff magically when, you know, they do the work. And then while the work is great, right, in attaining those things, right, and even think about it, right, those objects are merely things, right? They're just extras, right? Cherries on top of your life, right? You want to think about the base, right? The foundation of it, right? And that's where the career and the purpose is going to, you know, come from, right? Essentially by you having, you know, that, what do you call it, drive, right? Motivating factors, and then discipline, right, that comes from it. The ability to, you know, if you have to work 7 days out of the week, you're able to do that for months upon months and then years, right? Because you have a fire within you to do it, right? And you're able to just do it, right? Like Nike. But to reach that point, it's going to take time, right? Mental development, physical development, the emotional development. These are all factors that you can improve, right? They take, you know, a bunch of work on, you know, active sacrifice, right? Because while some people may be gifted in certain areas, right, they may be born with a high intelligence, great genetics, right, super tall, super muscular, but essentially that's it, right? If they don't work, they don't try something new aspects, they are not, woo, hello. They have a few fans going through, but I, for one, you know, have learned over the years to fall in love with the process, right? You know, I would say the feeling, hello, after long days of work is much better than the feeling of that new milestone, right? That prize that you get, right? I only look at it as a consolation, right? Something that's good, right, if you get it, but is it truly everything, right? Those flashy, woof, beautiful things that so many people desire, are they truly going to bring you that happiness? And I'm going to say Probably not, but although they're fun, right, for a couple weeks, months, and when you first get them, that's it, right? And you know, I even drive this point home, right, a lot. You know, the very successful entrepreneurs, businessmen, and women of our day, you know, they simply never quit, right? Even when they're getting up there in age, they love what they do so much that they can't get enough of it, right? And many have tried to stop, right, retire, you know, with a lot of money and, you know, stability, but even then they find themselves back at work, right, back and doing those same activities. And you know, essentially that should tell you something, right? Because these individuals that are very obsessed with, you know, finishing their work, retiring, right, it may tell you that what they're doing may not be the best for them, but they might want to try something new, right? And you know, that's to say, you know, to not be afraid to try. People would call them more risky or less stable endeavors, right? Like gig jobs, right, that come with, you know, becoming an artist, right? Maybe trying, you know, to do music, right, and acting and photography, right? Those different avenues can be very risky, right? Because you may not be, you know, exclusively signing a contract yet, right, to give you consistent work. A lot of it is going to come through you, right, and through chance, by you applying, putting yourself in, you know, the right position to be successful. But other than that, it is purely up to chance, right? Whether or not they accept or reject you, right? But you can't be mad at yourself, you know, unless you haven't done the necessary work, right? Which is, you know, to put yourself in that position, right? That position, you know, to possibly succeed, right? Be able to go to that interview, right? Or whatever it is that you have to do. And, you know, essentially work at it, right? As we're gonna cross the street and do this craziness that we are doing. As we try to make our way around, but doing, and fix our pocket. Something's falling out. So let's see real quick as we can fix this. But yeah, man, so that whole essence, right, that drive to get better is so crucial, right? It should be something big and awesome in your life, right? Besides knowing what you want to do, you want to have something pulling you towards it, right? Creating that magnetism, right? Because that's what keeps the Warren Buffetts, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, you know, of the world, Clint Eastwood's still working, right, as they get up there. And, you know, essentially it's because they simply love what they do, right? And you gotta be honest with yourself, right? What do you love to do, right? So many people think it's so much about who do you love, but what do you love, right? It's almost parallel to that same idea, right? Really thinking and being conscious in that area, right? Because so many people, especially dudes, you know, want to try to find love, and girls too, right? We're both equally guilty of this. But, you know, you could say that your first love might be for, you know, someone in a relationship, but your second love would be your purpose, right? What do you love to do? Right? Do you like to work with your hands, right? And become, you know, a builder, an engineer, a craftsman, or a woman, right? Or do you like to make awesome paintings, right? And by virtue of you doing that, you have a love for it. You're able to be with it for hours upon hours, right? You view, spending time on it as worthwhile. That is a proper investment, right? In something that you could do pretty much for no pay, right? Just like how we would do so with lovers, right? Even if we are kind of putting in money towards it, right? Whether indirectly or directly, there's some different avenues, right? And how awesome would it be to love something and have it pay you, right? Potentially, right? And potentially leave an impact on, many different people. And, that's where it's gonna come from, right? That second love, right? Because that first love is awesome. It's great, right? You wanna build your life with somebody, right? Many people want that. You don't necessarily have to. But the second is going to come in finding that, path to victory, right? Through that work ethic, right? In what you are going to do, right? Specifically figuring that out and, being crazy about it, right? Just like you would for a person. And, you would even think, too, a lot of the examples of famous individuals, the Thomas Edisons of the world, great philosophers, that simply had so much work and were so infatuated by the work that they didn't really have lovers, right, per se. They didn't really spend so much time dating, right, because they, had, a love already. They loved what they did. They could do it hours upon hours and fail over and over again, right? I don't remember how many times famously Thomas Edison failed, but because he loved it so much, he kept going. But he was able to, put aside, the possible negative feelings that would be associated with that failure and feeling bad about himself and, how well he was performing, right? Because, he's not gonna have an amazing day every day, right? There's gonna be good days and there's gonna be bad days. And all that matters is your mindset, throughout the good and the bad, right? Staying focused, staying, I would say a certain degree of being hard, being tough, right? And able to handle anything, adversity, and even, success and extreme achievement, because, there is a certain set of problems that arise within those things as well, within having a lot and obtaining so many things, right? Well, that may come through friends and family asking you for stuff, right? You being worried about the intentions of pretty much everyone you come across because you are so worried as to why they are spending time with you in the first place. Right? Do they truly value and respect you as a person? Or are you just another marker or object of success to them? Right? So crucial, so huge. It's such a big problem amongst, you would say, celebrity culture and those of very highly successful individuals. Right? It comes out when they're figuring out who they want to marry, associate themselves with, put in their close group of friends, but because pretty much everybody needs that. But those individuals tend to struggle in that area, right? And it cannot seem like that because seemingly everybody wants to be their friend. And that's a problem within itself, right? Because they don't truly know who, wants the best for them, who has the proper intentions. But as we mentioned before, right? Huge host of problems, right? And while the idea of fame, money, success can be so alluring, many people are, simply turned off by it.